Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Nick from TopShelfBookClub.com, and today I'm going to be showing you how to open the pages of an unopened book. So right here I have an older volume which I believe was published in the year, if I bring it up, 1887. So it's an older book and it seems to be in pretty good condition for sitting on the shelves in some old bookstore somewhere. So what I mean by an unopened book is that books from this time period and before would oftentimes be released with pages which we like to call unopened. Essentially, it's leftovers from the printing and the binding process where you have all these pages and they seem to be stuck together at the top right here. So as you notice, it seems the pages are stuck together at the top of the page, and no matter what I do, if I try to force it open, it seems like they're joined together. So at first, I'm not too much of an expert on this subject. So at first I thought they were just kind of glued together from being kept in an old bookstore that was effectively in a basement for quite some time. And then I realized that it's pretty much every single page of the book. So upon doing my research, I realized that this is what's called an unopened book. And so in the time that this book would have been released, they essentially were released with the original foldings intact. And oftentimes during this time period, whenever someone would buy a new book, they would often have a paper cutting knife handy in order to open the pages of said book. So depending on whether or not that you're like a collector, an unopened book from this time period would be considered more valuable than an unopened book. And oftentimes if you're collecting books and you have like a first edition, it's pretty good if it's considered unopened. But this is just your regular run-of-the-mill older book. It's actually just like a collection of the archives of the state of Maryland during the colonial eras. And I personally want to open the book up so that I can read it because I'm interested in the material that's included. So I looked up some methods for opening up the pages, and apart from keeping a paper knife on me, I figured out that you can mainly open them up by just taking an empty sheet of paper and kind of jimmying it up there in order to free the seams. I read somewhere online that they often suggest using acid-free paper, so I just happen to have some thick archival quality acid-free paper lying around somewhere. And so effectively, in order to open the pages, we just find one that's closed like this. And then we're gonna take our paper, our thicker paper, we're just gonna jimmy it in there in order to try and break the seam. Now, of course, it's gonna be leaving a little bit of dust and a little bit of paper residue, but that's normal, that's to be expected. Gets a little tricky down here at the seams, but it seems like we got it. And now, got one page open and two pages open. And I don't think that I'm going to open the pages of this entire book. I think I'm mainly just going to open them up as I go. If I see something that I want to read, I'll open up the pages. But essentially, that's how you do it. So whether or not you want to open up the pages of your book is totally up to you. Me, I'm not really interested in the value or the collector's value of this book. I just kind of want to read the knowledge that's inside. That's kind of the reason why I bought it. But if you are having issues with trying to figure out a safe way to open up the pages of your book without having to like grab a knife and risk destroying it, like I've read places online where people want to do this with scissors and it ends up completely messing up the pages of the book. But if you want an easy way to do that, just get yourself a thick piece of paper, acid-free if you have it, and then jimmy it along the edges of the book, and that should open those pages right up. So I hope this helped anyone who had this problem. As always, if you feel like asking me any questions or you want to read some more stuff about interesting books that I find, you can feel free to head on over to TopShelfBookClub.com. And if not, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.